Seminar on current trends and issue in nursing education. Nursing administration. Introduction. Administration is an essential factor in the development of any service. Administration provides the means whereby most effective use can be made of the knowledge and the skill of all those who are involved in it. The development of the nursing service has been enhanced greatly by advances made in professional skill and technical proficiency. But it is apparent that the same development has not been made in nursing administration. Definition. Administration is the organization and direction of human and material resources of achieve desired ends. Administration is the direction, coordination, and control of many persons to achieve same purposes or objectives, according to Negro. Administration may be defined as the management of affairs with the use of well thought out principles and practices and rationalizations techniques to achieve certain objective. Administration is the organization and use of man and material to accomplish purposes. It is the specialized vocation of managers who have skill of organizing and directing man and material just as definitely as an engineer has a skill of building structure. Administrative process is intellectual, social, dynamic and creative as well as continuous. The feature of nature of administrations are: first is it is universal because irrespective of nature and objectives of the organization, all basic elements of administration such as planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, budgeting can apply for its effective achievement of goals. It is holistic. The whole process of administration embraces the organization and its function in entirely involve total activities of organizations. It is intangible since administration is visualized as abstract. It cannot be transferable to anywhere, so every organization has to develop its own administrative style within the context of functional elements of administration. It is continuous and ongoing process. The cycle of administration goes on continuously. It is goal oriented. Administration is allows struggling to achieve the laid down goals and objectives of the organizations. It is social and human. Usually in administration, group of people are there to achieve the objective. It needs good social and interpersonal contact or relationships to achieving the goal. It is dynamic. Administration has the elements of flexibility and adaptability and adjustability rising to the needs and demands of different situations. It is creative or innovative to have an effective administration. Assisted administration provides innovation, offers and invites creative idea to its organizational teams. Principle of administration. 14 principles of administration were identified by Henry Fayol as follow. First, division of work. In any organization, administrator or manager cannot perform all the activities to achieve its objective. So there should be division of work according to managerial and non-managerial. Second, authority, responsibility and accountability. If the person has to perform job assignment effectively according to their own qualification and experience. Third, discipline. For smooth running of administration to achieve objectives, there should be proper observation of the rules, regulation, norms, decoms, manners, code of ethics and expect this required to be enforced within the organization by the managers. Fourth, unity of command. In any organization, the subordinate should be supervised by a single supervisor to whom he/she should be accountable. Unity of direction. In any organization, there should be one supervisor to give direction to his/her subordinate. Subordination of individual interest to organizational interest. This implies that narrow selfish interests should be overcome or should turn to common and broad interest of organization for its welfare. 7. Remuneration of personnel. There should be fair policy for payment of the personnel justifying the workload, job hazards, efficiency and quality of performance. 8th, centralization. There should be some amount greater and larger authority resting with top level managers. 9th, scalar chain of command. This implies that there is chain or link in directional instruction from the top level to the lowest rank of organizational members in the hierarchy. 10th, order. In an administration, there should be proper systematic arrangement of staff, materials, supplies and equipments according to requirement of a specific job department. 11th, equity. In administration, there should be a fair and impartial treatment to all workers irrespective of their job. 12th, stability of tenure of personnel. Organizations should make proper efforts to ensure stability and continuity in the tenure of personnel, which keeps security and promotes production. 13. Initiative. Administration should always be encouraging initiative from each employee by allowing him freedom to do his/her best. 14. Esprit de corps. It refers to senses of belonging. This fosters the team spirit, the spirit of working together to achieve objective efficiently. Elements of administration. Professor Luther Gulick. It is made up of initials and stands for the following. P stands postcorp. P stands for planning, that is working out a board outline. O stands for staffing, that is establishment of the formal structure of authority through which work of subdivision are arranged, defined and coordinated for the defined objectives. S stands for staffing, that is the whole personnel function of bringing in and training the staff and maintaining favorable condition of work. D stands for directing, that is the continuous task of making decision and embodying them in specific and general orders and instructions and serving as leader of the enterprises. CO stands for coordinating, that is all important duty to interrelating the various parts of the work and eliminating of overlapping and conflict. R stands for reporting, that is keeping those to whom the executive is responsible informed as to what is going on, which thus include keeping himself and his subordinate informed through records, research and inspection. B stands for budgeting, with all that goes with budgeting in the form of fiscal planning, accounting and control. Trends in nursing administration. Trends denote general direction and tendency, especially of events of options. So, nursing trend refer to the general direction towards which the different nursing events have moved and are moving, as well as the opinions in and around nursing and tendency that we find in and about our profession. Nursing service in ancient times. Study of the history will help us to know what the nurse thought and did in the past and which may still affect us and may have had some influence on what we think and do. The study of how problems were approached and solution obtained in the past will help us to understand and find solution to problems of our own time. In the book of Charaka, it is mentioned that the physician, drug, nurse and patient constitute an aggregate of four. Nurse educations and administrations are now stating a new framework in which the graduate nurse should function. They are making people aware of what virtue nursing service should possess so as to help the patient regain and maintain high maximum degree of health. Influence of the Christian era on nursing services. Synchronizing the history of Christian era, we find the emergency of human relation in patient care. The parable of Good Samaritan is closely interwoven into nursing services. The attitude of taking care of person as a patient has continued to influence nursing services and hospitals. During the Greek medicine and in Christian era, nursing became a respected occupation in which the most unpleasant work was made defined by a sense of devotion. As the church grew in strength, it created positions designed to provide simple service to members of the community. The deacon's order was organized in 400 AD. This woman gave simple nursing care to the needy and prisoners. Influence of the church silenced medical research. The existing medical practice slowly deteriorated. The period of monastic medicine is usually called the Dark Age of medicine. The monks played a predominant role in the practice of medicine while the medical professional almost disappeared. In the 16th century, with the Reformation, nursing sank to its lowest level. Hospitals were organized by the church. In that period, nursing was only an art. Scientific knowledge and its application to nursing, as we conceive it nowadays, was unknown in the Middle Age. The nursing personnel in the secular hospitals were illiterate and overworked. There was no status attached to the nursing personnel, even though they were members of civic control hospital. Emergence of modern nursing service. In the 19th century, as men came up with new ideas about the material world and about the world of human society, the development of modern medicine and nursing followed. The Enlightenment movement liberated new ideas about things and their relation. Belief in the devil and his possession began to disappear. Modern medicine emerged. With the emergence of modern medicine and hospitals, adequate nursing service became a prime necessity. Pastor Flander and his wife re-established the Deacons movement at Kaiserswerth, Germany. In 1960, Florence Nightingale's concept of a new system of nursing became a reality through the establishment of a training school at St. Thomas Hospital, London. This system of nursing offered economic independence and secular vocation for women. Development of nursing service in the United States. Nursing service in the United States came up from the concept developed from the military orders, Catholic and Anglican sisterhoods, the Deacons movement, and from percepts of Florence Nightingale and the other nurse ancestor. In 1858, the American medical profession advocated the establishment of training school for women. The apprenticeship nursing in hospital was started in 1983. The problems of nursing were discussed by physicians and nurses at the Chicago's World Fair. In 1899, Teachers College, Columbia University realized the need for higher education, offered courses in preparation for teaching. In 1910, the University of Minnesota established the Basic School of Nursing to become part of the university system. At an American Nurses Association regional conference in 1961, Oliver Lambertson emphasized the modern role of the Director of Nursing and the role of Director of Nursing and the role of related institutional services with respect to the patients. Utilization of personnel and facilitation of services are major objective of administration. Between 1913 and 1917, more than 500 schools of nursing were established. The 3-year course's duration had been generally adopted. With the First World War, the responsibility and workload of nursing services was increased. By 1920, every hospital wanted its own school. The apprenticeship system in hospitals improved nursing care. Nursing service within the modern hospital, emergency of nursing services standards. During 1935 to 1950, social forces had a tremendous influence upon the development of nursing services. In 1936, the Manual of Essentials of Good Hospitals Service was published under the sponsorship of the American Hospital Association and the National League for Nursing Education. This was published to give recognition to the minimum standard of average patient care. The manual was revised in 1942 and a third manual was published in 1950 under the title Hospital Nursing Service Manual. Nursing service was beginning to function on and on. The value of scientific method and fact were seen on the horizon of nursing administration. As the hospital grew at the time of Industrial Revolution, it accept norms of modern business organization. The hospital was under the control of board of directors who delegated authority to executive director or hospital administrator. The administration established personnel, dietary and purchasing departments. Administration was concerned with placing of nursing service as a whole in hospital. The director of nurses won control over many administrative aspects of the nursing service. Nursing service continued to be responsible for supplies and equipment and for the employment and discharge of nursing service personnel. With the expansion of services to patients, the nursing director was forced to delegate more responsibility and authority to the nurses of the patient's unit. The role of the graduate nurse in most hospitals become one of coordinating and controlling nursing services and hospital services. As the employee of the hospital, the nurse was and is still subjected to distinct line of authority: the hospital administrative line and the clinical and therapeutic line headed by the medical staff. Nursing services in a bureaucratic system. The second phase of hospital and nursing service administration is called the bureaucratic system of control. The nursing service groups were brought under the line of authority. The informal relations unite people together, and the vertical lines of communication unite the levels of hierarchy. Through the vertical line of authority, the policies formulated by the management and communicated to all the grievances and problems of the personnel are back to administration for the fruitful selection. During the system, the decisions were usually made through the interaction of three groups: the administration, the medical staff, and the board of trustees. The nursing services were ignored. Hospital nursing services at mid-century. During the period of 1915, numerous studies were performed on problems related to patient care. Nurses, educators, physicians, hospital administrators, and others were actively engaged in various projects and experimentation. At mid-century, the tradition of the hospital as the clinical workshop for the doctor was changed to the patient center institution. Specialists began working together to meet the total needs of the patient. Emergency of Nursing Services Administration. The National Nursing Council published its reported for future, which is known as Brown Report. The report indicated that in nursing service, administrative and supervisory staffs tend to be authoritarian, and nurses had little freedom in taking decisions and judgments for the care of patients. And it was found that administrative orders were issued from the top hospital administrator with little opportunity provided for nurse administrators to participate in the policy decision making. Brown's report pointed out the need for sound legislation regarding the training and function of practical nurse and other health workers, and also stressed the need for professional and highly technical nursing education, and mentioned that it should be undertaken by university and colleges. In 1950, the Kellogg Foundation conducted a 5-month seminar and Nursing Services Education Administration and In-Service Education and Research. The study conducted at Teacher College, Columbia University, resulted in the establishment of course in Nursing Service Administration. At the seminar, the first definition of nursing administration was formulated. Nursing Service Administration is a coordinate system of activities which provide all the facilities necessary for rendering of nursing care to patients. It includes establishment of goals and policies. The hospital health team. Changing perception of nurses as member of the health team. Nurses have been accepted in health team as functionary members, but they have had no part to play in planning and policy formation. But during 1070s, nurses were becoming more active advocate for their patients and were taking steps to personalization healthcare rather than continuing to be handmaiden in the healthcare delivery system. National Labor Relations Act 1974. The act is based on our society respect for the dignity of both man and his work. The NLRA encourages the utilization of collective bargaining and are a means of establishing wages and condition of work of non-managerial and non-supervisory employees. In NLRA, a professional employee is defined as: first is any employee engaged in work predominantly intellectual and varied in character as opposed to routine mental, manual, mechanical and physical work. involving the consistent exercise of discretion and judgment in its performance. Third, required knowledge of an advanced type. In an institution of higher learning, this definition of a professional by NLRA encourages nurses upgrading effectively the practice of nursing in accordance with the Nurse Practice Act of their state. Peer Review and Professional Standard Review Organization (PSPO) will strengthen professionalism in nursing as well as enhance the status and economic interests of nurses strike. The right to strike is defined as the moral and political right of employees to withdraw or withhold labor in order to gain concession from their employees. Nurses should strengthen their professional responsibility in nursing practice with support from their administrative leaders. Nurses should create a professional model that includes standards of nursing practice. Patient care committee should be established in the hospital with administrative medicine and nursing representatives. Arbitration. From a practical viewpoint, arbitration revolves problem. Arbitration involves a legal contract between two parties. Voluntary arbitration is decided by employees and employers when they make the contract, and arbitration may be called when a dispute cannot be resolved through negotiation. Both parties agree on the selection of an arbitration when one is needed. Arbitration of nurse employers issues elimination the need for strike. If hospital and health agency administration want to avoid strike and their consequences, they may accept voluntary or compulsory arbitration as the best method for setting disputes. Fact finding. In fact finding, both parties agree to call in an impartial person to hear both sides. The fact finder will prepare a series of recommendations based on the fact presented. In 1966, California nurses voted to use the fact finding procedure rather than to go on strike, and the fact finder recommendations were affected. Medication arbitration. In medication arbitration, a neutral and experienced arbitrator side in during the contract negotiation or disputes. If difficulties arise, he endeavors to mediate between the parties and secure a voluntary agreement. Mediation and conciliation. Mediation and conciliation are used in traditional bargaining. The mediator is called in and he tries to achieve voluntary agreement. Credentialing in the nursing professional. Licensure, certification and accreditation process comprises credentialing. All are closely interrelated. This system is being synchronized critically by consumers, professionals and others in our society. The consumer patient want quality care at a fair price. The Department of Health, Education and Welfare defines the various aspects of credentialing. Licensure, a process by which a governmental agency grants permission to individuals who have predetermined qualification to engage in a given profession or occupation, use a particular title, or grant permission to institutions to perform specific function. Certification or registration, in the process by which non-government agencies or association grant recognition to an individual who has met certain predetermined qualification by that agency or association. Accreditation, the process by which an agency or organization evaluated and recognized an institution or program of study meeting certain predetermined qualification. The New State Nursing Practice Act, Ahmedabad in 1972. The practice of the profession of nursing encompasses diagnosing and treating human responses to actual or potential health problems through services such as case finding, health teaching, health counseling, and provision of health supportive to or preservative of life and well-being. Mandatory and voluntary licensure. It means all individuals who practice nursing or medicine must get license. Only individuals holding a license are authorized to use a designated title such as RN and LPN. Unlicensed individuals may work in a field but they cannot use protected title. Mandatory continuing education and voluntary scouting competence. In most state licensed health practitioner has to renew their license. Some professional group encourages the adoption of mandatory continuing education and for professional use licensure.